The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette. Put your best face forward with our new and improved razors.
This is News Talk.
Now, folks, welcome along. Tuesdays Off the Ball. Joe Molloy with you this evening. Lawrence Donegan is going to join us. So, Lawrence will talk to us about the sorry tale of Phil Mickelson and the Saudi Golf League, which now seems dead in the water. On the Formula One front, Michael Massey, he's the race director who was at the centre of last year's controversy. He has been sacked, unceremoniously gone. We'll chat to Rebecca Clancy of The Times. She's over in Barcelona as testing for the new season begins. London GAA will feature this evening. They are 3 for 3 in the league this year, and we're going to chat to two of the players on the show this evening. And of course, it's a Champions League week, back by popular demand. Kenny Cunningham.
Oh, I thought you referenced the Champions League was back by...
Oh. You're more popular than the Champions League.
God, there, Conference League.
Pull your mic in there, will you?
Put my mic in.
Your microphone.
Oh, right. I did ask you that about 20 seconds ago before we went on air.
What did you say?
You just ignored me.
I was busy trying to do something here.
Busy? Yeah,
look, I guess it's only your first time in the studio. You'll learn the things we're talking into microphones. Important. Some would say essential. Generally, not 15 feet away from you is a good start.
There.
You were at Leicester Wolves for us at the weekend on Sunday?
I covered the game. I did. Yeah. You were there for the first intro, didn't you? You shot off. You places to go, people to see. I heard. Shot out of studio, a bit unprofessional, I thought. Thank God Ronan was there to step in.
Yeah.
Very good, actually, Ronan.
Things upped.
Pretty sure, I tell you.
Things improved.
Yeah. I was very impressed.
Going in the right direction. Good.
But it was a good game, actually. Yeah. Having watched the United game and the conditions there, I thought, here we go, more of the same. I'm on you, but
chaos at Elland Road.
Yeah, but it was great.
Oh, wasn't it? It was brilliant.
Oh, you couldn't take your eyes off it, could you?
Yeah. Scott McTominay in particular enjoyed it.
Thought he was lucky.
Very lucky. Stay on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching a pub, like the sound was torn down, so I didn't hear any of the kind of reaction to the tackle early on, but it was a stupid tackle. He could easily get out of the way. It was did he get a yellow card for it, did he?
He was certainly on a yellow, yeah.
Yeah, he got away with that one. But no, the game itself was, littered with kind of, mistakes and the whole shebang, but pretty engaging to watch. Just don't see that type of game few and far between again. And it's great, but it's really kind of, I think the players would have enjoyed it as well, because it's really kind of challenging, isn't it? The surface in particular, obviously the wind, and so you've almost got to recalibrate everything, in terms of your pass and the weight of your pass, the kind of the bounce, even all sorts of the decision making. You kind of have to, like I said, you just have to modify everything almost, because of the conditions which are facing. Even like your tackling, like going to ground on that type of surface where you're going to fly, you're going to continue travelling at speed. So you got to you got to be aware of all that.
The referee made allowances in the tackling, didn't he?
He did,
let it go.
He did. He stamped down a little bit, was supposed he had to do, but that was good to see. Yeah, because it was a good contest there for the majority of the games. United pulled away late on, and I was impressed with United. I was pleased actually for them, because it's not too long ago, well, probably only up to last week, people were questioning the dressing room. We probably were as well. I don't know what we were talking about last week. It doesn't stick in the memory generally what we need to be talking about, but
we had a good row about Mo Salah. I remember that.
I forgot.
That guy.
Let's leave that. Let's park that.
Raised voices.
Yeah, but a lot of talk. The dressing room was fractured, little cliques, the whole shebang. It's a mess. Bad characters in there. There's poison. Blah blah. This it's done. Their season's over. Then all of a sudden, in that game, you saw that bit of character. That team almost pulled themselves back together a little bit, especially when Liz got back to 2-2. So that was actually good to see. The body language of the players celebrating the goals. You looked at it then and thought, you know what? There's actually something there to work with going forward.
Not convinced.
Not convinced, no.
I think there was something about that game that was just very absorbing, probably because of the conditions and the atmosphere, and they all sort of got into it, but I still wouldn't trust that dressing room.
No, but I think when you see those type of things, Leeds getting back into that game 2-2, I think that's when that kind of fractures actually come to the surface. People start feeling sorry for themselves, start pointing the finger again. This is going against us. In adversity, all of those things are magnified, aren't they? But we didn't see that. You saw a good reaction from the players, and actually played some good football in conditions after that, and scored 2 very good goals. The Fred goal was a great goal in terms of the quality of football.
I was happy for Fred. I like Fred.
Yeah, I was happy. Yeah. Poor old Fred, huh? Gets a bad rap,
doesn't he? Will O'Callaghan's with us. Hello, Will.
Evening, Kenny. Evening, Joe. How are you getting on?
Very well. You were just mentioning to Ronan there before we started that Lukaku is dropped for the game this evening. I was. It's funny you mentioned that because as you were saying that to Ronan, I could just overhear you. I was reading Chris Sutton's piece about Chelsea and Lukaku in the Mail, and it started me. It just made me laugh because I thought, God, this is going to be a very interesting piece from Chris Sutton on his time at Chelsea. Like really introspective, because it starts off in quite dramatic fashion, I would say. He says, I could look back at my time at Chelsea and blame everybody else. My manager, my teammates, tactics, pressure of the price tag, you name it. But ultimately, I blame myself. And I thought, well, this is getting interesting. Yeah. I was the club's record signing. I cost them £10 million in 99, and it didn't work out. I was sold after a single season in blue. And I thought, wow, okay, let's get into it. And he said, yet if I'd ever finished a game having only touched the ball 7 times, I'd have been embarrassed. And then he just tramples over Lukaku for the next dozen paragraphs. That was as much introspection as he was giving us.
Dive bombed after that opening paragraph.
Oh man, I thought, come on, Chris, let us in. Give us what happened.
There's an obvious comparison there, I suppose, like he's saying, big money sign and pressure on the shoulders when he came in, didn't work out. So in comparison to Lukaku, so...
He did have one other great line. Now, I know he doesn't write this himself.
Got a few good lines. Oh, he doesn't write it himself.
I should be shocked if he does. But I do like to think this is a direct quote.
Right.
When my time at Chelsea didn't work out, I was sold. I got my fresh start and I moved to Celtic for £6 million in 2000, and I loved my trophy-laden time in Scotland.
That's me clap myself on the
back. Who
back.
doesn't love a trophy-laden time? Oh, dear. What about Lukaku then, Will? So, Tuchel was not going out of his way, I think, to support him post-match.
Yeah, look, after that game where he had the 7 touches at the weekend, 2 in the first half, one of those being the tip-off, Tuchel kind of half defended him at the press conference yesterday where he said, look, we're expecting something different out of Romelu compared to maybe what he was doing at Inter last season, and said maybe that's some of the defensive burden kind of hampering his game. But then 24 hours later, he's dropped for this big game against Lille in the last 16 in the Champions League. So it means Kai Havertz, their hero from the Champions League final last year, will lead the attack in the number 9 position. You've got Hakim Ziyech to one side, Pulisic to the other. They're using a backline where 3 of the 5 players are all out of contract this summer, but it's going to be 3 centre-backs, Christensen, Thiago Silva and Rudiger. You've got Azpilicueta and Alonso as the full-backs. Then in midfield, it's Kante and Kovacic. So that means Jorginho is on the bench and Mendy will keep goals. So a bit of a switch around from the weekend from Chelsea.
Kenny, do you think Chelsea are better without Lukaku?
No, I think that, well, they're better team with him playing somewhere close to his best. It was interesting that quote Will told us there. I heard a bit of that myself. Actually heard him talking about the touches he referenced, and he tried to make a bit of a joke about it, Will. He said, I'm sure people will be laughing about it. And he tried to kind of laugh and make it into a bit of a joke. But I must admit, I cringed a little bit because I thought, oof, I wouldn't want to be hearing that if I was Lukaku. Almost like a little bit of ridicule it was. So I thought he was wrong in that respect. And then you're right, Will, when he kind of referenced potentially it might be a burden on Romelu in terms of his defensive responsibilities, that kind of really threw me as well. I really wasn't sure what he was talking about, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're talking about he's not having sufficient touches to the ball, you don't start talking about his kind of defensive. How are you going to improve that? You don't start talking about he's got to improve his defensive game. Where the big improvement's got to come from him, yeah, he has to get more touches to the ball, but in the right areas of the pitch. But that's not just down to him, Will. Lukaku's never been the type of player to drop deep, get the ball on the half turn, and go past 1 or 2 players, drop his shoulders, quick feet and get a shot on target. He's always been the type of striker who's very much dependent on the service from players around them, particularly in wide areas. And I think the most significant issue in regards to Chelsea is in those areas of the pitch, those forward advanced areas, getting the type of ball into him which he thrives off, particularly in wide areas. And I'm not seeing enough of that. So I have a little bit of sympathy, a lot of sympathy actually for Lukaku, and I can understand his frustration. I think there's small elements where he can actually improve his game. You can look at his movement in and around the box sometimes, Joe. I think he can improve that. He's a little bit kind of static at times. But I think a problem with that as well is sometimes when I see Chelsea in wide areas when they do put the ball into the box, not committing actually enough players into the box, and actually Lukaku's a bit isolated. And so even if you're saying, well, look, his movement's got to be better, drop the shoulder, drive across the defender, the near post, do something, that's easier said than done when you're the only one in the centre of the penalty box. When you've got 2 or 3 teammates arriving and occupying other defenders and catching the eye of other defenders, it's actually easier to find a little bit of space inside the penalty box. So for me, it's a lot more complex issue, and it's certainly the last thing I would have been talking about would have been Lukaku's kind of, defensive discipline. I mean, I really wasn't sure how that came into the conversation at all.
Yeah, strange time. So we'll push on with the news round. Will, where are you starting?
Yeah, so that's the Chelsea team news ahead of that game. The French champions Lille sitting currently in the bottom half of Ligue 1 after winning the title last season ahead of the game at Stamford Bridge. The other game in the Champions League this evening, first leg of the last 16, is the Europa League holders Villarreal, who go up against the Italian giants Juventus. Both those games are kicking off at 8 p.m. There's also talk, Joe, about what's going to happen with the Champions League final this year and whether it might be moved away from St. Petersburg. The Irish Minister for European Affairs, Thomas Byrne, along with Boris Johnson, the PM in the UK, among the politicians calling for the final now to be moved away from Russia. UEFA say it currently has no plans to switch the showpiece despite the threat of war between Russia and Ukraine. They added they will constantly and closely monitor the situation in the coming months before making any decision about where the game is going to be played.
Yeah, not a good situation to say the least. You were making a face at me during that.
I was just, is it my eyes? Is Will at home? Will, are you at home there?
I'm at home, yeah.
Is that my eyes, or is it actually blurred out the background?
No, I don't think you're going blind, Kenny. I've got a feeling this might be the Skype filter, which may well have kicked itself on.
I thought it was a personal decision, like a privacy thing in terms of people peeking around.
Trying to be
yeah. Which is one of the advantages.
He's deep blurred.
Oh, there it is. See, that's what I'm talking about.
There you go. No,
that's one of the big advantages of Skype, and people get nosy, don't they? And looking over your shoulder in terms of what's going on.
You can judge
the
curtains on the couch now, Kenny.
Is that a plasma behind you? Is that a big plasma?
It's LED.
How big?
Yeah.
How big, Will? How big?
It's 65 inch.
65. It's a monster.
That is big.
Christmas bonus. Good luck to you, Will.
Well set for Chelsea again.
Fair play.
What size is your TV?
Joe Molloy's wages, but enough for a good TV.
Well, I think mine's 55 and it feels massive. Feels too big.
65 inch.
65.
God.
Oh my God. Are you short-sighted?
That's making a statement. Joe, isn't it? And to put it in the picture as well.
Things, Joe, if you're gonna,
you could have done this call from anywhere.
It's even bigger than Will's head. Look at and that's saying something.
Even allowing for perspective, and the TV's 15 feet behind you. It's bigger than your head.
Yeah. I like to watch a lot of sports. I like to watch it in a kind of a.
Is that your entertainment room?
Joe?
Willie, in your entertainment room, is that you down the cellar here? Where are you exactly in the room?
Which wing are you?
If you move that camera to the side, have you got a little bar? That little bar in the corner there? Have you a couple of?
There he goes.
Well,
the pool table.
The kitchen bar area is like literally just to my right hand side here. I've got a dog who is trying to eat my headphones underneath my legs at the same time. So kind of juggling a few balls at the one time here, Kenny.
Oh, I tell you what.
You
Smart,
like what you're seeing?
Yeah, I'm impressed.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Nicely mounted on the wall as well. It's all good.
Fair play. I'm pleased for you, Will. I'm pleased for you. You're doing well. Good luck to you.
You're still working off the 14-inch, are you? You still have one of those TVs that has a DVD player connected to it, do you?
The whole the stress of getting I can't remember the last TV I bought. It's been that long ago.
You should.
But it's stress now, isn't it? Getting it on the wall, the bracket.
It's not easy.
That loads of people now have them set in the wall. I mean, how do you go about setting
Have you
in the wall?
Have you HD?
Yeah, I think it's HD, yeah. But I wasn't a big fan of. Was it when the HD came out and you could really, it really gave you detail on the telly, didn't it? Remember, everybody was kind of, oh wow, this is. But that was no good for me because there was too much. You were too focused on it. I just couldn't enjoy whatever I was watching on the telly.
Yeah. Because
you were homing in on the kind of detail. It was that.
Do you find with some of them now the picture's too real?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I
think it's going like last couple of years.
Too much.
I go into a TV shop sometimes. I'm like, this is just. This movie feels like a reality TV show. It's so real.
Give me that little bit of fuzzy. Those fuzzy lines.
A touch of fuzz. That little bit of Hollywood fuzz.
Just give it a bang on the side.
The one that'll really get you, Joe, is if you watch either La Liga or NFL at the moment, they've started to use the kind of mirrorless cameras. I don't know if you've seen this effect probably around the Super Bowl or some of the matches late in the NFL this year, where the shot actually looks like a video game because it's such a shallow focus when the players run. It's the same with some of the celebrations in La Liga this year. They're using the same technology as well.
Right.
That's the one where you kind of go from the moment of, am I actually watching something live here or am I watching a movie? It's very, very disorientating. Very cool effect, but very weird.
Yeah, I think that's dangerous to be do you remember, Will, the football some years ago, that slow-mo, somebody taking a strike or whatever it was, contact, they really slowed it down, didn't they?
Yeah.
That was, I thought,
Class.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That's good.
Yeah, but not. I think you're right. Not too much of it.
In the golf now, they've started blurring the background. Sorry, it's like Will on Skype actually. So they'll have the golfer, and then the background is all blurred, and just to make it look more cinematic. They're going for these shots all the times.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Progress, Kenny.
Yeah, really.
Well,
regression. I would suggest. What's Will doing?
He's pushing his dog.
That's the dog. Let's have a look at him. Let's have a look.
I knew at some point he'd look to try and get a camera. So there we go.
Is it a boy? Is it?
It is. He's a small French bulldog. He's
look at him. Look at him.
Old now, so he's had a few appearances on the crappy quiz so far. So I think this is his PM debut.
Now Will could have picked 10 dogs up and brought them, and if we had to pick one, that would have been it, wouldn't it?
Why?
But they do say that, don't they, owners and their dogs, in terms of similarities? They're kind of drawn physical characteristics now.
Do they? Do you want
have a look? There, look. You can see it. Look at it. It's right there in front of you.
Are you trying to accuse this dog of looking like
dog?
Kenny,
He's a beautiful dog. Beautiful.
You and your dog are the spit of each other, is what he's saying.
Essentially.
There's an entire radio audience right now going, what is happening?
Do you not say that?
No, I could see it, but all the people listening on the radio in their cars are going, what's happening? You forget we're on FM as well here, Kenny.
Now, if it was Joe now sitting at home on the Zoom, I wouldn't be surprised if he picked up a little French poodle, picked it up and held it next to him.
53106. What dog?
He's that well manicured these days on the telly. Joe.
What dog would Kenny Cunningham have? 53106, please. Answers on a postcard.
You wouldn't let it go.
Does Kenny have a dog?
You wouldn't let it go. Wouldn't let it go.
I'm just trying to take attention off me and put it right back onto
exactly.
you. So that's Chelsea. No Lukaku this evening. What else is going on, Will?
Well, the Republic of Ireland securing a third-place finish at the Pinatar Cup this afternoon. Denise O'Sullivan with the only goal of the game, lads. Coming in the 25th minute on the half volley, they beat Wales by 1-0. Ireland will resume their World Cup qualifying campaign away to Sweden on the 12th of April. And O'Sullivan says their week in Spain has been ideal preparation for that.
Fantastic week by the girls, and just to win this game, to end on a high, absolutely excellent. Thought we were really good in the first half, gritty performance. I think second half we dropped the level a bit. Went long a lot, so we didn't really take control of the game, but I'm really proud of the hard work of everyone on the pitch, and looking forward to Sweden now. I think that's the main thing.
It was a different role for you today, wasn't it? You were dropping a bit deeper, something more similar to what you play at club level? Yeah,
I played a 6 at club level, so I just got the shout by Vera to drop in there, and I think it was just to take more control of the game, get on the ball, try and get our 10s in the game. So tried to do that. I think I got more of the ball in the first half, and then I think it kind of bypassed me in the second half. But look, it's about the team, and I think the girls done excellent today. Really proud of everyone, and it's great into the week. 17 goals senior level, it's not bad. It's a nice strike on the ball. Yeah, it was. I kind of eyed it up. I knew I looked a bit disinterested, and I knew she was going to play it into that defensive midfielder. So I just pounced on it and took a touch, and honestly just whacked it in, and it went in. So I was absolutely delighted to get on the score sheet today, and good performance. You mentioned how good this week has been in terms of the development of the team, but also how important it is for Sweden as well. Yeah, I think this week was fully about Sweden. All our focus was on it, and I think it was great as well to rotate the team in the second game and just get those girls, get more confidence for those girls going into the Sweden game as well. And it's about the Sweden game now, so I think we can take a lot of positives out of it. And I think we also can work on a lot of things as well as a team. So full focus on Sweden. I think we're in a really good place.
Yeah, Denise O'Sullivan there. Will, I know you caught a bit of this game. I mean, when she talks about looking disinterested and then pouncing on the ball and winning it, there are a few better in the world game than her at doing that. She's kind of N'Golo Kante-like. And I also, when she's talking there about Vera Pauw's dilemma of, well, can you go deep and get on the ball for me today? But against Georgia, she's just so outstanding. They pushed her forward on and she caused havoc there and scored goals. The net problem here is we need about 5 Denise O'Sullivans.
Yeah, I mean, again, remarkably adaptable, because today Wales had quite a bit of the ball, but Ireland had a very good shape. The game, as Denise mentioned, it kind of drifted a little bit from both teams after the 60-minute mark, where both benches got emptied a little bit to try and make sure that everyone was getting as much game time as possible. But you judge Ireland more on how they played in the first half, and I thought they carried a good thread on the counter-attack. Denise O'Sullivan was controlling things in the middle of the field. Again, you would love to have her as a number 10, that Denise O'Sullivan would be passing it to a similar schemer slightly further up the pitch. Yeah. But Ireland had most of the best chances during the game. I think Lucy Quinn will probably be disappointed with the header that she had laid on, where she could have sealed a 2-0 victory. But grand scheme of things, Russia are in the final of the Pintar Cup this evening. Ireland have won their other 2 games over the last week, and they got to use every player once Yves Badana came on to playing goals for the last 30 minutes or so. So I think a very, very worthwhile week or so in the sun in Spain for Ireland this week.
Okay. So Leeds have passed on some CCTV footage to police.
Yeah, so this is on the back of the game at Elland Road last week, Manchester United against Leeds, and it was pretty clearly picked up on camera as well that Anthony Elanga was hit by an object while celebrating a goal in the 4-2 victory for the visitors. Leeds say that any supporter who's found guilty from the footage will be banned from their stadium for life as well.
We were talking about this in the Newsround last night. Johnny Ward was in. It does feel like this is happening more this season than previous years. Obviously the pandemic clearly wasn't happening very much during then, but in recent memory, last 5-6 years, I feel like it's more liable now for stuff to rain down on players this season than previous years. You noticed it?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, maybe so. There's always been a little bit of a round.
Was there?
Yeah. It's the coins really I don't like. It's dangerous.
Blind someone very easily.
Yeah, exactly. So, luckily now the kind of CCTV should be easy. Most grounds now should be easy to kind of, even post-match. You don't have to go tearing. Stewards don't have to go tearing into the stands. You know, the game ends, supporters go home. You look at your CCTV, you pick people out, find out who they are, and there's a knock on the door 3 or 4 days down the road.
Yeah.
Police, and there you go. Take it from there.
Did you ever, as a team or any team you were on, were you ever kind of mindful of, well, let's not celebrate in front of away fans if we score a goal here?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point. I think it's too easy to say, oh, you can't make an argument that, you know, players going and celebrating that they deserve this or warrants this. Of course, you can never make an excuse for throwing coins or kind of any kind of objects on the pitch. But I must admit, I don't like it when I see the players deliberately run towards the opposition supporters, you know, and make a beeline for them and kind of, you know, celebrate in front of them. You know, don't be surprised if you get a reaction. You know, 10,000 people behind the stadium. Don't be surprised if 3 or 4 of them people are going to react badly.
Actually, for people who didn't see the game, they might be getting the wrong end of the stick here. Manchester United were celebrating in front of Manchester United fans. I was talking more generally, just back to your playing days.
And I'm talking generally as well.
Yeah.
So I actually do think that I like to see the celebration. Don't get me wrong, but do it like 15, 20 yards further in field. They're doing in front of your own supporters. You know, just be smart.
Yeah. The other one I remember this year is Man City scored at Arsenal and they got rained down with stuff, actually. Yeah,
but that was Rodri, wasn't it? Rodri kind of scored, ran one side of the post, then put the brakes on, and then decided to run away from the Manchester City supporters, if you remember, I don't know if you do, and ran over to the other corner where the Arsenal supporters were, and actually almost jumped into the Arsenal. So this is what I'm talking about. So for me, is there any excuse for that behaviour? Absolutely not.
Sure.
But I think players have to take a serious look at themselves as well.
No,
in certain situations.
Yeah, in certain. Well, that's what I was asking. Were you ever advised? Was what I was interested in. Did anyone ever come in and say, "Lads, no celebrating there down the corner"? It wasn't done like that. Sense. Well, I guess it is.
Common sense, showing it. And you know there's certain grounds, don't you? I mean, you know, you just know, like, you don't put yourself in that position.
Will, thanks a million.
Thanks, lads. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Nice one, Will.
We will take a short break.